Hey y'all, and welcome to Politabrawl. My name is Brian, and this is a bombshell report that another CCP spy from China was found to be working for Governor Cuomo before, he resigned in disgrace, and Marjorie Taylor Greene just drops a nuke on him. But before we get to that, I want to talk about our sponsors at Native Path, whose collagen peptide and other products can help you live a healthier life. Now, let's dive into the video.
Let's talk about a tweet that you made because there's an indictment out on a woman named Linda Sun. Linda Sun, and I'll read this indictment. It says on April 4th, politician number one publicly thanked PRC official number one, both in public remarks and in a post on Twitter. That's this right here. For helping arrange the donation, which was scheduled to arrive at JFK Airport in Queens, New York that day. So, Mr. Cuomo, you were thanking China, the PRC, while you had a woman named Linda Sun working for you, who has now been identified as a Chinese spy. Now, today you have come before the American people in our committee. You have insulted many people, including people in this room and people watching this hearing who lost their loved ones because of your March 25th directive. And at the same time, you were thanking the Chinese government while you had a Chinese spy working for you. So, Mr. Cuomo, I've read a lot about you, including the fact that 13 women that work for you accused you of sexually inappropriate behavior, which, thanks to the Democrat DOJ, helped you out of that. But I'd like to say this, and I'll ask you, are you either the dumbest tool of the Chinese government, or did you know for a fact that you were being used by the Chinese spy that was working for you?
I've read a lot about you too, Congresswoman. I think this is a very serious matter. It
is serious, that's right.
She was a junior member in my team. I wouldn't recognize her if she was in this room today. But I think it is a serious matter. I don't think this was just in New York. I think there is an infiltration of Chinese, maybe Russian operatives.
The Democrat Party's definitely had a problem with Chinese spies. Yes, you're right. And I want to remind you, you're under oath.
Yeah. And I think it's a serious issue, and I think the federal government and the state government should work together on it. The state government doesn't really have the ability to do the international reconnaissance, but the federal government does, and I think they should work together to make sure they're doing the best they can to do the vetting.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to enter the indictment for the record.
Oh boy, MTG got him good. He's either the dumbest asset to China, or he knew what was going on the entirety of the time. Just to remind you that Governor Cuomo, the disgraced governor of New York, didn't just make terrible policies happen. Oh, no. He didn't just allow people, particularly older people, to be locked into their retirement homes with no way out. He is directly responsible for hundreds of deaths because of his policies. This man has blood on his hands. And not only are his hands blood-stained, 13 women have accused him of sexual harassment. Something that, with a face like that, I can believe, because that's a face only a mother could love. Good grief, how did his brother get the good looks? And it's a shame that he got the brains and the other one got the looks. But what's really awful here, what I think is the worst out of all of this, is that another Chinese communist spy, and the reason that I say it's the worst thing out of these three, I'll get to that in a minute, he hired a Chinese communist spy. What is it with Democrats and hiring Chinese communist spies? Furthermore, what is it with Democrats and bending over forwards and backwards for them? Because when Xi Jinping came to California, guess what? Gavin Newsom and his cronies, the mayors, I believe, of San Francisco, I'm pretty sure it was San Francisco. They cleaned up the entire city just for Xi Jinping. Hey y'all, I wanted to give a quick shout out to our new sponsors, Native Path. Created by Dr. Chad out of Austin, Texas, he realized that there was something deeply wrong in this medical community. And instead of focusing on nutrition, they were just focused on serving Big Pharma. So he left and created this new company called Native Path. And what do they do over there? They sell something called collagen. Now, what is collagen? Well, it's not magic fairy dust. It's not this muscle milk. It's not calcium rich. Instead, it is a odorless, flavorless, dissolves completely in water powder that you can mix. And unlike iocane powder, this stuff has massive health benefits. It can help your bones, your joints, your ligaments, your skin, your hair follicles, even your fingernails. This stuff is absolutely packed with the nutrients that we lose so constantly in our modern diet. This stuff is a fantastic supplement, can help you live a healthier life. And if you go to this link down here below, you will find up to 45% off of certain products. That is how much Native Path cares about your health. So go check them out, link in the description below. And now, back to regularly scheduled programming. That is how little regard they have for their rank and file voters and their constituents and the people who don't vote for some reason, but are citizens of California. They can clean up their act. They can do it. They can clean up the streets, but they'll do it for a Chinese communist borderline dictator in Xi Jinping. And you know what? I am comfortable in calling him a dictator. And this man is likely going to start a war and invade Taiwan in the next coming months. I hope to be proven wrong about that. But y'all, Democrats apparently don't face any scrutiny when they sleep with or hire Chinese communist spies. And the reason I think it's the worst out of those three issues, the sexual harassment, locking up grandma, and hiring spies. The reason that it's the worst, because there are other things that just go their way, where they're not held accountable. It means they're not doing their research. Or worse, it means they know what they're doing. If Governor Cuomo knew what he did and just didn't care, this man needs to be thrown in jail for treason. Period. I hate casting judgments like that. I'm not a judge. But I do know one thing. If you're harboring people hostile to the United States, you're quite literally committing some form of treason. And that's what actual treason is. Not the day in January monkey business. That is sedition. All right? Treason is when you sell out your country. All right? There's a reason why I get very anal about the war between the states. Is because that was a rebellion. They were not selling out the United States. They were trying to leave the United States. That is rebellion. That is sedition. That's not treason. I get very anal on those things because words have meaning. And the left loves twisting that time and time again. They will twist the very meaning of words to suit their purposes, which is just ridiculous. It's smart. It's effective. But it ultimately leads to these weird consequences. And Chris Cuomo only got consequences because the Me Too movement. Not because he locked up grandma, not because he hired a Chinese communist spy, and not because he was singing the praises of the CCP. No. It's because he got a little handsy or made some awful remarks. I'm glad he's out. The state of New York deserves better. But that's not the best reason for people to step out of politics. Actual treason is a really good reason. And then having terrible policies that lead to the deaths of plenty of people. Yeah, those are reasons to resign. And they're way more important than his history of being a serial harasser in his own office. I'm not saying that it's not a bad thing. I'm saying that on the hierarchy, one's pretty low, one's borderline treason, and the other, let's just say, unalived his own constituents. This man is awful, and MTG just gave him a truth bomb that he has to stand up for. There has to be actual consequences. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. And until then, y'all have a good one.